Hi, in this video, we will see an implementation class for map interface. So we will see HashMap, how to use HashMap and how to um, store and retrieve objects. So we will create one class called map demo. So inside the main method, let us create one HashMap object. Okay, so map. So let us source some of the student names and their score. Okay, so we will give the name as student scores. Okay, equal to new hash map. So now we have created the hash map object. We also need to import it because it belongs to util util package java.util package. So we have to import it, right? So now we can store some of the student names and their scores. We have to store as key and value pairs in a hash map. So key and value both are of type object class, right? So we can store any objects with as a key and value pairs. So let us store it. For that we have a method called put method, and we store a name of a student which is a string mark and the score as 80%. Same way we store some of the student names and their scores. So mark Kevin 85%, and 90%. Okay, so this is how we can store objects in a hash map. Now how to retrieve it? How to retrieve values from the hash map? So for that we can use the get method system. Let us get a value, then we will print it. System.out.println, and we print uh, Kevin score of Kevin. Okay, score of Kevin. So we call the get method. So student scores dot. When you want to retrieve some value using get method, we have to pass the key. So what is the key here? Kevin, the name is the key. So you want to see the score of Kevin. So you have to give that. We have to pass this key. So it will retrieve the score. Okay. So now let us run this code and see the output. See, now it is printing score of Kevin as 85. Okay. Suppose if we pass some value which is actually not inside this hash map. For example, if I pass the name Ram, for Ram there is no score. Actually, there is no key value pairs here inside this hash map. In this case, it will return null value. Okay, so let us run this code once again and see the output now. So it prints null. Okay, so this is how it works. Now we do one thing. Instead of storing this string as key and a value as a number, integer, let us try to um, add the employee object as key and the rating for employee as a value and see how it is working. So for that, let us create some of the employee objects. So we have employee class that I will show you now. So we have a employee class. So it has instance variables such as id, name. It has some getter methods. We have the constructor, we have a public constructor, and we have hash code method is implemented here, and equals method also implemented. Okay, so what we do now is, let us create few employee objects. Employee e1 e2 new employee, and we pass the id as 101, name as Ramesh. We create few more employee objects, okay, and store these objects into this hash map. E2 not 2 and Vimal. E3 not 3, not 3 as id, and mm, Rama. Okay. Now we will store these employee objects into the hash map. We will create one more hash map like map employee ratings equal to new hash map. Okay. And we can now store the employee objects and their ratings as key value pairs. E as E1 and value as rating as 4. Okay. So same way we store employee objects and their ratings as key value pairs. E2 rating as 5 and E3 rating as 3. Okay. So now let us retrieve the value by using the employee object key as key. For example, if you want to retrieve the rating of Vimal, the employee Vimal, then we have to pass the E2 object, E2 as a key. E2 is the employee object as a key to the get method of the employee ratings hash map. So how to do that now? So let us use the system.out.println and print rating of Vimal. And we have to pass um, employee ratings dot get, then we have to pass e2. Okay, so now let us run this code and see the output. What we have done here now is, so we have so so what we have done here is, we have created 3 employee objects and we stored these employee objects into the employee ratings hash map as key value pairs, and we have retrieved the value of the E2 object by passing E2 object into the get method. Okay, now run this code and see the output now. See, rating of Vimal as 5, we got it. Suppose if we pass object other than these 3 objects, E1, E2, E3, suppose we create one more object E4, and let us try to pass that object. because that object is not available. Since suppose we create another object called e4 and id as 104 and name as Sunita. So this employee object is not available. So let us try to pass this object e4. E4 is not available. So for that, what we will get? So let us see this by running this code now. See, null value is returned because that for that employee object we don't have any value stored inside the hash map. Okay, so this is how it works.